Back in 2004, we began devising activities with teachers in the local area that we were working with to find out whether the training we were doing with them around global development issues was having any impact on the pupils. Those activities proved extremely useful, but they were very specific to our context. So we devised this European project to recreate and improve that sort of pilot set of activities into something much bigger, much broader, and generically useful for teachers across Europe and beyond. And those activities are designed with the intention of measuring attitudinal change in pupils. So not just do kids know more about Africa, but what's their attitude towards it and how does that impact on their behaviour and the action that they might take. What we've discovered is that you can't separate qualitative from quantitative, so their knowledge is connected to their skills, and that's all underpinned by their attitudes towards what they're learning and towards their local and global community. But what we have devised with networks of teachers across all the partner countries is a series of short, interactive, open-ended, often question-raising activities that promote different methods of answering questions, elicit lots of different kinds of discussions, and enable teachers to get a quick snapshot of what's in their pupils' minds in terms of their opinions, thoughts, values and attitudes. For example, one of our most popular activities is very simple. It's an outline of the continent of Africa, and we ask children to write or draw anything they would expect to see if they visited a country in Africa. And it's completely open-ended, and you get lots of brilliant drawings of zebras and things that you can't make any sense of as well. But we then have a series of criteria by which teachers can evaluate what's within that map, what's drawn and written by the children, but also everything they say whilst they're writing and drawing. So the discussion that takes place, the ideas that move back and forth, so that they're not just measuring knowledge about the continent, but also their attitudes towards the continent. So for example, do they perceive poverty as an issue of pity or as an issue of solidarity? That's an attitude towards it, and that will come out through the activity. They love the activities. They absolutely love the activities, and we've found that for the last 10 years that teachers are desperate for them and find them really, really interesting and really useful. Sometimes they end up just using them as an interesting classroom activity and not using them to measure change. It's not just about how many global activities you do in the classroom, but it's about the quality of what those are, and the quality is measured by whether the children are bringing about change. So they often say, oh, it was a great activity, we loved it, and then we say, so what change did you see? And they go, oh, we didn't measure that. There are some really subtle differences in methodology. So what we've found is that some of the activities are hugely swayed by just the choice of words you use, or whether you use photographs or text, or whether you use consensus or open-ended questions. That it makes a huge difference to what children say. So for example, in Slovakia, one of the teachers devised an activity that was a kind of odd one out activity using photographs of people doing different jobs, professions. And the idea was to find out if there were particular attitudes around ethnicity and or gender. When we tried it in the UK, it didn't elicit any attitudinal responses at all. And we tried it again and again, and we tried different photographs, and we tried it with different age pupils, and just nothing. What we've discovered is that in the UK, children are really used to doing kinds of spot the difference activities, and it's like a kind of puzzle game, and so they look for minute detail, whereas that's not quite the case in Slovakia.